Hi there, Glocal Citizens. It's Florence Adu, your host for the podcast that inspires a borderless mindset around doing something in the world. Today, my guest comes to us from my Glocal Citizens listening audience. So someone heard the podcast and said, I know someone that would be awesome to talk to. And I agree. My guest today is Amanda Chirpy Obidike. She is the founder and executive director of STEMi Makers Africa. I think I said that right, or STEMi Makers Africa. She's a global women tech ambassador. She's certified as a STEM professional, an AI professional, an emotional intelligence professional. She is a data scientist, a community mobilizer, a global citizen, a teacher, a mentor, and a visionary. That's a lot. So we have a lot to talk about. Amanda, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Florence. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. It's been a long anticipated conversation, but I trust that it's going to be a wonderful one.
Yes. So let's just jump right in. So, Amanda, tell us more about where you're from, where you're local, and what your craft is.
Okay, so thank you. So first things first, my name is Amanda Obidike, but some call me Chirpy. It's a name I was identified with in the university, and I've grown fond of it. So I am from the southeastern region of Nigeria, a state called Anambra State. But I naturalized in Lagos State, that's the city of Nigeria. Then, yes, as for my craft, I am a data scientist by profession and a STEM advocate. So, STEM is an acronym for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And it's been a wonderful journey so far. Sometimes I don't even know if I'm still a data scientist because work has taken the best. STEM has taken most of my time. But yeah, that's what I do.
Okay, interesting. So, Amanda, how did a young lady from Anambra State find herself becoming a STEM professional? What was your path?
I finished from the Obafemi Awolowo University of Ile-Ife. That was for my undergraduate studies. And I read business management. So if you look at it categorically, business management doesn't have anything to do with technology or science. So that was something I realized after graduation. I There was no reasonable job because I didn't have the technical skills. And Nigeria was actually going into the brink of lack of technical skills. We found out that in the workforce, you either have a lot of expatriates because there is a leaky unemployment pipeline, which is due to lack of technical skills. So this actually affected me. You find out that you're getting a job, but you know that you need more out of life. So I started looking inwardly and I found out that I really need to do research and see what does this job market need? What are the future focus options that I can key into? So I had the opportunity of going for a mentorship in data science by the IBM. And after I finished that, I found out that there are a lot of lucrative opportunities that are much more than technology. So I started researching and I found out that STEM is an emerging field, and at the same time, Africa needs to tap into it if we want change, and not just change, if we want sustainable change in our country. So I took that bold step. I said, okay, why don't I start an initiative where we would prepare young people to with future focused options, and at the same time address the leaky unemployment pipeline so that instead of them outsourcing jobs to foreigners, Nigerians can also take hold of this opportunity. So, and that was how it started. And to tell you the truth, it's been a wonderful journey because you find out that this loophole has eaten deep into the system. So, me being like a champion of change, I think that's like one of the most fulfilling things I can ever imagine. So that's how we started, and it's been good all the way.
Okay. So, how did you go about pursuing your technical studies? Like, where did you find yourself? Like, what drew you? What kind of institutions drew you to them?
Okay, so when I finished with business management and had an opportunity to be trained by the IBM on data science, I
Mhm.
found out that it's not just enough to have or build an initiative. So I needed to go back to school. I had to apply into the Open University of the United Kingdom to understand STEM. So apart from putting me on a different perspective to see the world, it also gave me a better understanding in the field that I want to delve into. So I did the program, a certification under the Open University by the United Kingdom, sorry, and I also had to enroll into the IBM Skills Academy in the Middle East, where I could learn more like on artificial intelligence, business intelligence, like core data science and all. And it also led me into further partnership with these organizations because the good thing is that they are helpful. So they're not just giving you the technical skills, they are also trying to invest in your initiative. For example,
Mhm.
IBM, they've been really good to STEMi Makers Africa, finding out that, okay, well, she's not just a recipient, but we can help her, we can support her with resource tools for Africans. The same with Open University, the UK. So yeah, that's how the technical skills journey has been. But I'm still learning. I'm still trying to absorb into as much fields as I am in. For example, I just got into the leadership team of the 500 Women Scientists. It's a platform where you have global scientists all over the world, but they're looking at helping Africans. They're looking at investing into similar initiatives like mine, where they can give girls the opportunity to excel in STEM.
Okay. So, as you were studying, so I'm assuming you traveled to these places for your university, or were they remote programs?
Okay, some was remote. So for the Open University, because ideally Open University you can actually study remotely. So
Yes.
so I did that from here in Nigeria. But for
Mhm.
IBM Skills Academy, I needed to travel. And as for the International Business School, Business Management Institute in Berlin, I needed to travel. So so it was a blend. While I could do remotely, I also had to travel to for some programs.
Right, right. So I mean that's part of the beauty of technology is it moves with you. So
Yeah.
that's quite lucky. So this is where I come to the point where I ask my guests why the where. So you were able to travel for part of your education experience, and what inspired you to come back or to decide where you wanted to be living and working and being based? Where and why have you chosen that?
Okay. Well, truth be told, I've had a lot of opportunities to maybe habitualize or to like shift base, to better places or greener pastures, like they say. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm so drawn to my home country and I'm so drawn to Africa. I tell people that I don't see myself leaving this country, irrespective of what's happening, because I know that I'm planted here for a reason. So why don't I just start preferring solutions to an existing problem? So not to undermine people, but I have this notion that I don't want. It's not like I'm running away. I can't run away. Who's going to solve the challenge? So I'm drawn to home, because even when I was studying there, I had this passion, like, oh, I can't wait to go home to, start integrating this, to start changing this culture fabric and all. So the long and short is, I don't see myself building myself abroad, but I see myself excelling here in Nigeria because if very few people are making it here, I ask myself, why can't I do the same? Yeah, that's just my perspective, and that's how I've been led all through.
Sure, sure, sure. So tell us a little bit more about how you came up with the concept of founding STEMi Makers Africa and how you actually you kind of bootstrap that and built the organization that you're working for now.
Okay, so STEMi Makers Africa is actually a non-governmental organization. We are focused on three major things. We are focused on addressing youth unemployment, which is really eating deep into the system in Africa, and the gender digital divide. We know that there's an underrepresentation of women and girls in STEM, and also innovation in education. So these three core things, I know that they constitute towards the development of a nation. So those are like our three core objectives, and that's why I needed to start STEMi Makers Africa. So we try to equip young Africans with STEM emerging tools, real world problem solving skills that they need to excel, in lucrative pathways, future focused options, and most importantly, becoming more experienced for Africa's workforce. But in my role in STEMi Makers Africa, I actually coordinate leadership, strategy management, and oversee the implementation of STEM community projects and outreaches in 17 Sub-Saharan countries in Africa. We are actually spreading. We actually had two, like one in Angola and one in Chad. We started two last week. So you find out that the outreach is spreading because there is a need. So, these are the things that drives me in what we're doing in STEMi. And trust me, it has been tremendous. And what we do is that we actually offer skill-based training. We offer mentorship, resource tools, especially to schools in underrepresented communities. We also help young entrepreneurs with resource tools. Remember, I said that we're into partnership with IBM. IBM gets to help young entrepreneurs, whether they're in the university, whether they are farmers, and maybe healthcare, just to ensure that they ideate their solutions and like they bring their whatever ideas they have to reality.
And how do you reaching into these communities? Like, as an NGO, my background is in public policy and working with NGO types of organizations. And sometimes the limitation is technology. I mean, that's the big elephant in the room is you need technology to reach them, and then you have to use technology to actually implement what you're working on. So how exactly do you capture the minds and actually implement your work and find the projects and find the people that you're working with?
Awesome. I believe in collaboration a lot because, most times when we want to penetrate communities, we find out that these communities have there are a lot of challenges. You can't really assess them and etc. So what we try to do is we try to partner with local governments and maybe existing organizations. They could be NGOs, they could be social enterprise organizations. Then we come together because we know that we're going to need their data. They may have existing people that they are tending to, but we are coming to rather complement on their work. So we just do a lot of collaboration and also collaboration with not just local stakeholders or governments, but with international organizations. For example, we had this project with the US consulate. We were actually an awardee, so they funded the project and they said, okay, we would like you to train communities on STEM, where they can cultivate a STEM workforce in their community by training their teachers. So we know that ordinarily it's not going to be something that we can easily implement in Lagos because of the bureaucracy and all. But we found out that we had easy access to the government, to the education board, because we said, oh, we are partnering with the US consulate. So this challenge is a sad one, but we just had to utilize the partnership and the access we have just to ensure that we make the work go on. So we try to leverage on maybe a brand, number one, or local governments or international bodies just to ensure that we synergize just to and make the work happen. But trust me, it's not easy sometimes. It's not too easy, but
Right.
we just have to push.
Yeah. So this is where, speaking of working with locals, this is where I ask my guests about what you hear. So this is my Glocal Speak question. So I ask my guests to share a word or phrase or saying that is a meaningful part of your local experience and why or how you came to value it as Glocal Speak.
Okay, so when I learned of this, I smiled because I had a similar interview question with Botale Hub South Africa 2 weeks ago. They asked me the same thing, but I'm not going to change it because I see this word being meaningful and taking shape in my life. So I would say be fearless and the world awaits your manifestation. It's something that I coined out 2 years ago, and I wake up every day. I tell myself this. It propels me to get more, to want more out of life. Life doesn't give us what we want. We go get what we want. So I reassure myself every time, Amanda, you have to be fearless. The world awaits your manifestation. The world awaits what you are about to do. The world awaits your destiny. And yeah, it's been tremendous because I'm speaking it into manifestation, and trust me, it happens every day. Every day you are hearing good news. You are taking territories. You are occupying territories, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's powerful. Be fearless. I mean, I think that there's so much fear that is kind of endemic to so many of our African cultures just based on our history.
Yeah.
So there's always the fear that someone is going to, knock you down, not allow you to get somewhere. And so people just don't do anything. And so I think that is an awesome global speak is just own your fearlessness is very, very important. I thank you for that. So let's talk a little bit more about your mentorship and some of the other affiliations that you've had in terms of working with organizations to teach and reach into other countries, other communities, other, maybe not necessarily technology, but really how you have cultivated yourself as a mentor.
Okay, so one of the things I realized in the process of, being underemployed was I looked back and found out I didn't have any career support or academic support because who knows if I had that maybe and I had a clear direction, things may have sped up for me, and the way I am may not be have. I would have been like I would have accelerated. So that was already a loophole, and I needed to address it by making sure that young girls like me wouldn't encounter such challenge. Trust me, mentorship plays a great role in whatever we do. We mustn't say, okay, we have a mentor or maybe someone like a figurehead, but somebody that we can look up to, someone that can give us this advice, someone that can give us this guidance because we don't have everything all figured out. I don't even have everything figured out, but as we go, we learn. I needed to do that. And what I had to do was I started to volunteer and serve as mentors to organizations, lending my time to girls and, responding to questions that they have. And I found out that a lot of them don't have like clear direction. They need someone to help them out. So I did that. And presently I'm a mentor at the New York Academy of Sciences, Cherie Blair. But I said, I need to also bring this home. So we started this mentorship program last year. We're having the second cohort this year again. And it's been beautiful because we've had like over 565 girls mentored already. So what we
Wow.
do is,
Impressive.
yeah, so what we do is we know that there are young Africans, women especially, that are in diaspora and they are looking for how to give back. So what we did was I created like a database where people, if you would like to volunteer and you're in diaspora, you are from an African country, you can sign up. So we found out that we had a lot of them that are willing to mentor as much as two ladies, three ladies, give them resource tools and opportunities, scholarship opportunities, just to ensure that they get better in their academics. So that's what made us to launch a program called Project Congoza. Kongoza means is a Swahili language. It means to lead. So our coin word is empowering women and girls to lead. So Project Kongoza actually pairs young girls to ladies in STEM, professional in STEM, and it runs for a year where they get to mentor them, they get to give them the career or academic advice they need just to be better. And trust me, it's been beautiful because we've been able to measure impact. We've been able to see that, okay, after mentorship, there is something there for you. There is either a job waiting for you because you already now have the confidence, you have the technical know-how, and you've been given the opportunity. So we see this impact, and it propels us to we need to accelerate. And we're looking at the third cohort. We'll even be going beyond Africa because we have people from Middle East trying to sign up, say, okay, we'd like to be involved. So that's it anyway.
Very interesting. So being an entrepreneur and coming up with, the concept for a company and doing your own thing, what were some of the considerations that you had to face, particularly in terms of identifying staff and identifying funding? I know your background is business, so I'm sure it was a little bit second nature to you, but actually being on the ground and building up the company, what were some of the challenges and some of the triumphs that you experienced?
Oh, trust me, the challenges was numerous because a country like Nigeria, we have a challenge of infrastructure. Take for
Right.
example, power. Power just
Yeah.
blanked out before I had
Hmm.
this interview, and also the infrastructure has really been a strong challenge, a major challenge. But for people, I would like to say that we've been fortunate because I've not really had a challenge in staffing or volunteering because a lot of people just want to identify with what you do. Every day I'm getting messages either on LinkedIn or Facebook Messenger like, I would like to volunteer, I would like to contribute my time and all. So I would like to say that people know that there is a challenge, there is an issue. So they are trying to give in their best. So what we do is we try to leverage on existing partners, number one, for example. And as for like manpower, we try to use people as volunteers. We don't really call them volunteers. We like to call them like young partners because, they're bringing in their skill sets, they're bringing in their time, and, we really value that. So juggling this has really been, I know that these challenges are there. So what I just do is that I try to face it squarely and, just to ensure that we do this irrespective of whatever challenge we have.
Okay. That sounds like the typical way to bootstrap it in Africa. Just face the challenges and you keep on keeping on. Most definitely. So when you say that you measure the impact and you're seeing the impact with the young women that you're mentoring, how exactly are you monitoring it? How do you continue to follow? Because I'm assuming these young women are high school and college
Yeah.
age, right? So by this time, in terms of how they're faring in the industry, do they stay in the industry? Do they continue to go on to school? How do you measure that, and how do you continue to cultivate those relationships?
Okay, first things first, I measure the impact not by like how many stakeholders have benefited, but
Mhm.
by the social value they get to add. Where
Uh,
yes,
mhm.
yeah, because now we have this lean impact measurement that we get to apportion to every one of them, where we get to keep track of their progress and also be with them every step of the way. So, like
Mhm.
I said, it's not like the mentorship will be done and we say, oh, bye, you have the certificate and that's it. No, we try to follow them all through, and it's been tremendous. We find out that over 85% of them are in STEM fields. Some of them are freelancers, some of them are working remotely. They are either they're designing websites or they're analyzing data. I had this news last week. One of them had to even send us an email that she got a little job, a remote job, and it's going to be a summer job where she gets to analyze data for the South African radio astronomy, and she's a Nigerian. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, yeah. So it's news like this actually uplifts us because the pandemic has caused a lot of things. There we see that
Right.
a lot of people are either they're depressed or they don't even know what next to do. But we hear news like this and we're like, oh wow, there's still hope then. So that's how we do it. And there's always a link between what we do differently and the change we claim to be responsible for. So we say that we also give credit to the mentors. The mentors made it happen. I personally wouldn't be able to mentor 560 ladies, but
Sure.
these ladies have really, they've really sowed the seed, and the seed has been really fruitful all the way.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. So, Amanda, um, my next question is another regular feature of the program, and it's my mindset hack. So, in this segment, this question, I ask my guests what your favorite or an innovative mindset hack is, and it's one that you can imagine or one that you know of.
Okay, I will talk about the one I know of and the one I usually do every time. So I take risk a lot. I do take risk because it's either I'm implementing a new idea or I'm jumping into a project 100%. I'll give you an instance. We had this project that we were meant to be given a grant at a certain time to execute this project, and 2 weeks to the event or the program, we haven't had the money yet. And my team was like, we need to pull out, we need to podcast, we need to postpone it. Sorry. I was like, no, we are not going to do that. We're going to look for this money and we're going to do this program. And funny enough, the investors, when they came in on the program, they were surprised that, oh, we haven't received this money and these people still pull the program. So it's a lot. Taking risk, especially in Africa, it takes a strong mind to do that. But it's something I've learned from my mom, and it's something I try to do. And trust me, I haven't failed because I ask myself, what's the worst that can happen? And it still boils down to the word I said earlier, because in order for us to achieve great things, we need to be ready to take risk and put all fear aside. Like I said earlier, we need to be fearless. I am fearless. So taking risk is one of my core mindset hacks, if you should ask me.
Yeah, I like that because I mean that's the only way to actually excel here and because there are so many challenges and there's so much uncertainty and so there's absolutely nothing and especially now you mentioned the pandemic and I wanted to kind of go back to you mentioned one country that I know has many challenges and so you mentioned you started something new in Chad.
Yes, we did.
And I know that they have very, very serious challenges from health to education, just dealing with the economy. So you've started something there very recently. And how did you first of all get in? And I know I've asked that question, but specifically for a country like Chad, just give the audience a little bit of a feel of what the landscape is and how you're actually transforming it for your target stakeholders.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So, Chad was trust me, Chad was not in my years list of okay, if we want to expand, we're going to go into Chad. But it just happened because we got an email, a young person, and said, okay, he would like to spearhead a hub or like a network in Chad. He sees what we're doing on Instagram and he loves it. So I had to schedule a meeting and I needed the board to be aware. We needed to ask him a lot of questions. We needed to ask some political questions and all because, like what you said is true. There are a lot of things we hear about these countries and you're asking yourself, why would you want to go to this country? But we had to like shift everything aside. We said, there is a need. Somebody is willing to bring change, drive change into his country, and he's willing to spearhead it under the name of STEMi Makers Africa. So that's what happened. Like the first project we did was to distribute masks to people.
Oh.
So, and fortunately enough, we had an organization who didn't give us the money, but gave us the resources, gave us the mask, gave us some sanitizers. We also had to bring some here from Nigeria, and we distributed it, and it was really beautiful, and it's something that we want to continue. But why I'm saying this is, I we had to leave out the risk or whatever we're seeing, whether political, economic, and all. We said so far this is a challenge, and it's something that they would like to be part of. Why don't we just give it a try? And yeah, that's what happened.
Wow, the power of social media. So
Yeah.
that's definitely something great. So we're getting to the close of our conversation, but I always like to ask a question that kind of gets into not the worky you, but the more leisure you. So tell us, what are you reading now? Are you a big reader, or are you a listener, or are you a watcher?
Okay, so I love reading, but honestly, with the way activities has been now, I haven't really been reading as I should read. But I think I finished a book last week. I was kind of really slow. So I don't like ebooks because I find out that I get easily tired. So there's a book I read through, and it's called There Was a Country by Chinua Achebe.
Oh, okay. Mhm.
Yes. So the book is a personal history of Biafra and a personal account of the Nigerian Civil War. It's also known as the Biafran War. I know most people must have heard about the civil war in Nigeria that happened between 1965 to 1967, and it concerns me because I'm from the southeastern region, and that's where it happened. So although I wasn't born then, but the book, it makes you reflect on your background, and it also makes you value peace. Because when you read the book, you find out that honestly, I don't want war anymore because it was just a civil war, but yet lives were lost, you know, hunger and all. So yeah, that's what I read. But now that you've said this, I think I need to start reading more.
Well, that's definitely a classic, and it's kind of one of those must reads in the African historical canon. We have
Yeah.
so many authors that are telling our stories, and so anytime I can encourage Africans to read stories by Africans, it opens my heart, because we've had so many people tell our stories, and they're not our stories; they're their stories told for their audiences, and so it's really high time that we find our stories and read our stories. So I appreciate you mentioning that text. So tell us where we can find you. Where do we find Chirpy?
So active on Twitter. What happened is the truth is that I used to be so social. Trust me, like on Instagram, always posting pictures or Facebook. But 2 years now, I've been so quiet. I think maybe it's because I'm trying to, a lot of things are on my hands, and I'm
Sure.
also trying to like build STEMi, you know. But
Yes.
it's something that I told myself that after August 11, because it's my birthday, I need to start coming all out, start becoming vocal, talk about my work, pitch myself on my social media page. I mean, it's my social media page, right?
Right.
So,
Right. Right.
yeah, but to find me, I can be found on Twitter at Amanda Chirpy.
Mhm.
Chirpy spelled Chirpy. Then LinkedIn, Amanda Obidike. Facebook, Amanda Obidike. Yeah, so that's it anyway.
Okay.
Then,
We'll also put all of your information in our show notes. So listeners, you'll definitely have an opportunity to read more about Amanda's work and her organizations and all the great things. I think we didn't talk about, I mean, all these awards and the many things that you're involved in, but I think our listeners have a sense
yeah.
of of how busy you are really trying to transform the world with STEM. And I really appreciate that. So, do you have any last words for now for our listeners?
Okay. Well, nothing much, but like I tell my young mentees and my friends, is that irrespective of the pandemic, we should be free to excel. We should be free to succeed. Because I know that a lot of things are happening, and we're asking ourselves, what next? What's the new normal? But even if we're going to the new normal, or we're going back to how we used to be, we should just be free to excel. And the world doesn't give us what we want. We go take it from the world. So, yeah, that's just a little pitch and encouragement I have for your listeners. And I would like to say thank you so much, Florence, for a good job well done. Trust me, I envy you. I was just, I buried myself on all the podcast series and I loved every one of it. So, thank you so much for
Thank
giving me your
you.
platform.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for joining us. We really appreciate speaking with young, dynamic leaders. And so you're definitely on your way. We'll be looking out for STEMi Makers Africa down the line.
Yes, thank you.
So that's all for this week, Glocal Citizens. As always, you can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere that you get your podcasts, as well as www.glocalcitizenspod.com. We have new episodes each and every Tuesday. Please do subscribe, comment, and make recommendations. That's how we have wonderful guests like our guest today. So until next time, bye for now.